Oh, brother. And we are live. What is up, everybody? And welcome to, oh my God, I don't even know what episode this is.
15?
18? I think it's
18.
We might be up to 18. Give me a second to look it up. In the meantime, Connor, I need you to do something for me.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you vamp about the weather while I look up what episode we're doing?
Dude, so I just came in from outside. So, it's kind of chilly. It's about 20 degrees out, freezing temperature for sure. Definitely put your windshield wipers up overnight. You don't want them freezing. Hey, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you very much from our weather correspondent. So it's looking like, so for some reason the Zoom meeting is only 40 minutes. So we got to move quickly. We got to move quickly through this show.
This is time now?
So
this is the best thing that could ever happen to this show.
I'm having, yeah, it is. I'm having problems with my Zoom account. I should have Zoom Pro and it should be through the school, but none of those things are true at the moment.
No, they changed it.
They changed it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I'm going to have to make a separate account so we can continue to do longer shows. In the meantime, we're going to get a speed run episode of Hot Stove in tonight for episode 17, which coincidentally is our most important show of the year. That's our Super Bowl preview that we're doing tonight and have to somehow do in under 40 minutes. So we will get it moving. Some quick housekeeping things. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hot Stove Pod. Let's remember that's at Hot Stove Pod on Twitter. Follow us over there. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, smash the notification button, and leave a comment if you feel like commenting on this video. As always, we appreciate you watching and listening, especially while we're zooming through this and Josh is screaming into the nothing. So do you just like mouth words when you do that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It usually looks like
yeah,
I was gonna say it looks like fuck something.
Oh, come on. This is a family show, Mark.
Ooh. That one was F my A, yeah. But
okay. All right, cool. So we got a lot to get to tonight. We have some grade the trade, we have some championship breakdown, we have some Super Bowl preview, and we have a special segment before that, I guess, that we're gonna let Mark take the charge on. But in the meantime, I forgot to introduce ourselves. I'm your host, Zach Nunez, and I'm here with my co-hosts.
Mark.
Austin over here. Uh-oh.
Connor down there.
Who? What? All right, that's Josh and I'm Connor. I'm back, baby.
All right, cool. So but before we get in, what'd you say?
I asked if he was back for good this time.
No, we'll get into that later.
I was going to lead the show with it, actually. But
that's fine, too, if you want.
So we're going to start. Connor has a little bit of announcement for the people out there.
Yeah, screw it. I'll start. So basically what came down to it, I know my absence from the show has been for a very long time. Kind of lackluster on my part, but I just want to let the people know that I've enlisted in the Army. I am leaving Monday night, but shipping out to Georgia, Fort Benning, Georgia, on Tuesday morning. I just figured I'd let the boys know, let the people know, and hopefully I'll be back around July, mid-July.
Well, we appreciate you letting us know that. And, I can assume I can speak for everybody else that it's been, I had to look at it earlier today. At the end of the month, at the end of February, it'll have been 2.5 years since we started Hot Stove. It's been a long fucking time.
It has.
And even though, since we've launched the podcast, it's been a little spotty here and there.
Not here and there. Lackluster all the way around the board.
Even though it's been lackluster.
Across the board.
I assume I can speak for the other three here that we have had some great times here on this podcast. And although you won't be a permanent member of the crew, you'll be of the most special guests when we have you back in the future. So,
God bless.
If anybody has any beverages, cheers to a great 2.5 years. We'll have Connor back in the future. But in the meantime, we do have a show to do tonight. So, one last final hoorah. Am I right, everybody?
If we have time at the end, anyone can ask me any question. Unless your name's Austin and you're going to ask me why I'm really stupid, I don't want to hear it.
I had a couple of questions, and I wanted to just ask him right now.
Oh, if you want to do it right now, yeah, that's fine.
We'll do rapid fire.
Okay.
So first, I was wondering like what position you were looking to take when you get there, like what.
Okay, so I already actually signed for my job. I'm going to be an airborne ranger. So I'm gonna jump out of airplanes and basically be a badass if I pass all my training.
Nice.
And go right into the heat of battle.
Not necessarily, but yeah, slowly and steadily, we'll work our way there.
And jumping out of planes is terrible, and I would never
Let's be
do it.
clear. You're not an 18-year-old idiot. You're a college-educated idiot.
Yes.
Okay.
I tested really damn well, and that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And they said, like, literally, if you're looking to be an infantryman and you don't take this job, like, you're stupid.
You're definitely.
Oh yeah, it was my second option.
I can tell you, you're most likely smarter than all of the other 18-year-old idiots who just volunteer to go get shot in the head somewhere. So
probably,
that was really my only question, honestly.
Okay, that's fine.
If anybody else wanted to interrogate Connor, go for it. But
that was also my question.
If not, we'll move on to sports talk.
Okay, perfect. Let's go for it.
All right, cool. So first segment here tonight, we do have to do a quick in memoriam that we'll let Mark talk about. Hank Aaron passed away last week while we were on our little bit of a break in between championship week and the Super Bowl. So Mark, if you want to talk about that for a second.
It's Hank Aaron. I mean, like, I don't think I can say anything that hasn't been said already and said much better than what I would try to say. But I mean, I was talking about this. We were talking about this in sports broadcasting last night when, like, I'm TA, and 755 is the number that stands out. Everyone in the class knew Hank Aaron hit 755 home runs. I was the only person that knew Bonds hit 762. Like, it's still the number that stands out for people. It's like, yeah, you think of, all these home runs, you think 755. And he's like, people think of him as this all-time slugger. Hank Aaron was my size. He was 5'10", 170 when he came into the league. And he had all these home runs, and he stole over 200 bases. The most amazing one is if you took away all his home runs, he still had 3,000 hits. Like, there's just so many unreal stats about Hank Aaron. But then there's also the man. I think it was Bud Selig that said, for as great of a baseball player as he was 10 times the man. Like, he was just an incredible ambassador for the game. There's a reason there's an award named after him. It's not just because of how good he was on the field. It's because of how good of a person he is was. And I get he lived a long life and he was very accomplished in his life. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, all this stuff. This one was still tough. This is one of those ones, I don't care how old the guy is. I never thought Hank Aaron was going to die. So that was a really tough one, in my opinion.
I saw a crazy stat, not even like a stat, I guess, because like usually you kind of brush it off, like all-star game appearances. That dude was a 25-time all-star.
But he played 21 years. He had more all-star because they used to do 2 all-star games. There were certain years where they had 2 all-star games, and he was an all-star in each of those. So he played 21 seasons and he had 25 all-star appearances.
That's pretty cool.
Actually. It's insane.
I hear that's pretty good, actually.
And like, people like, you think, all right, Bonds is the all-time home run leader. Aaron still got him by like 200 RBIs. He's still easily the all-time RBI leader. And Josh, what was that? I think you sent it, the stat about total bases.
It was something ridiculous.
It was like 6 miles more in total bases than anyone else.
Yep.
It's incredible. He's still like, that's still the standing. It wasn't just because you said when he retired. It's still him and Musial won too.
Sure.
So he's still got 6 more miles or 12 miles or whatever it was in total bases than anyone else. Anyone else in the history of baseball. It's just this is, we had a lot of really shitty deaths in 2020 in terms of baseball legends. You had Bob Gibson, Al Kaline, Joe Morgan. There were a lot of them. Nothing hurts the sport like Hank Aaron dying.
So I will say we might be pulling an audible while I'm thinking about it. If we run too long on the grade the trade and the championship recap
Yeah,
stuff,
I
we
say we
have
just
to-
go straight into the Super Bowl.
Well, I was gonna say that we would just record a second part tomorrow or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really matter. Or we could just stop this meeting. I can export it, and then we can record the second half of it tonight. I can put both of them out tomorrow. It doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. Anyways, we'll just go along with the schedule.
Mhm.
And we had some really big some trade news over the last week. We will talk about the Arenado to St. Louis news probably within the next couple of weeks. Once the Super Bowl passes and we start to get into our off season, even as a podcast, right? Like we cover football from August to February. We need content from February to August. So we'll get into that. But NFL news wise, the NFL offseason started and the Super Bowl hasn't even happened yet. So we have big blockbuster trade this past weekend. The Lions traded Matt Stafford to the Rams in exchange for Jared Goff, 2 future first rounders, and a 3rd rounder in 2021. I want to get your guys' opinion before I give my own. We're going to do a bit of a grade the trade here. So what would you grade the trade for the Rams? I guess that's what the angle we'll look at it here.
I'll go. I just like to let it know that. So this is going to give you an insight on how I grade them for both sides. This is what I'm listing as the great trade rape of 2021, and that's because the Rams absolutely fleeced the Detroit Lions, in my opinion. They gave up a quarterback who was failing, a complete bust. Probably, I mean, he's going to go down as one of the worst first overall picks. I mean, he's just a successful failure. That doesn't make sense. Point is, I think they got a quarterback, a top 10 quarterback since he's been in the league, age 32, showed some ailments last year, $43 million for 2 years, which is a bargain and a half for a quarterback. They get their quarterback. That's the piece. In their mind, he is the piece. They've had a top 5 defense in the league. They have all the weapons at wide receiver, tight end. They just need the guy, and I think they found the guy with Matt Stafford. And sure, the Lions get some picks, but who cares? By the time they get to those first-round picks, they're going to be at 30 and 32 if the Rams get their way. So maybe Stafford can actually win the division for once. Not to say that he's done it in the North, but the Rams can't do it in the West either. So maybe they're a perfect union. I think the Rams absolutely won this trade. That'd be my trade grade.
Anybody else would like to step in?
Are we talking only the Lions perspective right now?
Oh, we were talking about the Rams perspective.
Or Rams perspective?
If you want to take it from the Lions, go for it. The way I wrote it for the Rams.
For the Rams, I'd say a B plus. For the Lions, I'd say an A plus, 10,000 pluses. They traded a guy who is useless to their franchise because they're terrible. They got another trade piece that they could probably trade for a couple 2nd-round picks in the future, and got 2 firsts attached to it. I don't really see why they wouldn't do something like this. They're a tanking franchise again. They're terrible. And honestly, on the Rams side, I see what they're doing. I don't think it gets them over the hump. So I understand it. I'd say like a B plus, but I just don't think he's good enough to get him over the hump and win a Super Bowl. So I don't think it really matters, quite frankly. But I like the effort. I like the shake up. I like to try. It's going to be fun to watch. Not Jared Goff play with Sean McVay. So, yeah.
Connor, would you like to go next?
Yeah, dude. So honestly, I don't really have grades, but all I would say is the Rams upgraded at quarterback. So I like that. But also what the Rams gave up and gave to the Lions in draft capital is crazy. Like, for that to set a precedent for a potential Deshaun Watson trade is ridiculous. That's all I can say. And I know Matt Stafford and Deshaun Watson are not clearly on the same level, but if Matt Stafford's going for that much, I mean, imagine what Deshaun Watson's going to be going for.
a lot. And we'll talk about the Deshaun Watson situation next week when we do our
Oh,
well, I mean,
Screw
if
me,
you want
right.
to give us your quick insight,
Yeah,
we're
go
gonna
for it.
do
no,
we're
I
gonna
just
do an
gave it. That's all I
offseason.
got for you.
We're gonna do an off-season look ahead next week after the
He's
Super
probably gonna go to a shitty team, and then he's gonna complain about it. So,
You'd trade him? You would trade him, Connor?
if I was Houston, no. But I mean,
Okay.
really, I mean, I'd rather trade him to a team that I'd rather screw him over than have him be unhappy with me.
Well, see, here's the thing, and this is where the situation becomes complicated. Is that I think I described it as identical to the James Harden situation with a couple of exceptions, and I guess we'll get into this right now.
Okay.
One reason is that the Texans can't screw him over because he has a no trade clause, so they can't trade him unless he agrees to it.
Didn't you already waive that though, or no? Not technically.
It's only
Per trade.
yeah.
It's per trade.
Oh, okay.
So I do think that the Texans are going to end up trading him because it's either trade him or don't have Deshaun Watson this season. So, that's kind of up to them which one they would rather choose. And also, I think where this differs from the James Harden situation is that in Houston with James Harden, the Rockets did everything James Harden wanted, right? Like they bent to his every will and it still wasn't good enough. Conversely, the Texans have done nothing. In fact, they've done the opposite. They have actively tried to waste Deshaun Watson's career. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, yeah, I'm pissed off. Yeah, I'm upset that they hired Dave Culley, someone no human has ever heard of, instead of even making an attempt to go get Eric Bieniemy. I'm pissed off. I'm upset that they traded away a top 5 receiver in the league for a 31-year-old running back and a 3rd round pick. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm not happy about it, and I want to be out of here. Why would anybody want to play for the Houston Texans?
Because they gave him the second biggest contract in sports history. Or
okay, he gets paid that money regardless of where he plays next year.
Yeah,
but Houston did it for you. They drafted you. Have some loyalty to the brand. The player gets to determine everything. For what? Why? Why do you think you're already should have a say? Every quarterback ever wants to have a say in management. Why? Go screw yourself. Me do my thing. You go out on the field and do what I want from you. I'd let Deshaun Watson rot and retire.
I appreciate the shut up and dribble argument. Thank you, Brett Favre.
Brett Favre also said we in that thing too. I mean, he was saying himself too. He'd rather shut up and dribble.
I just don't think Deshaun Watson actually has any leverage because he can't sit out financially. So it doesn't really matter. He's pretty much bound to play because he can be fined so much money for not going to camp and then fined hundreds of thousands of dollars per game that he doesn't attend. So there's really no argument for him being able to not play because he will be poor. He won't be making any of his contract. I get he thinks he might have leverage, but if the Texans really want to, they can make him rot, which will be unfortunate for, watching his career, but it's it's very plausible that they just do that.
Look, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm also not happy with the situation. Like I don't understand. Like it's rare that you find a team that's not the Jets that's so willing to just not actively make any changes to get better, right? Like it's somehow the Texans managed to take a quarterback who I would argue is top 5 in the NFL and make it the least desirable coaching situation in football because they just have no direction. They have a bad aging defense that costs a lot of money. They have no weapons because their previous GM that they knew they were going to fire anyways just decided to sell them all off for literal scraps, literal pennies on the dollar. And all of this has led to having a star quarterback who now doesn't want to be there. So I don't understand why it's the worst possible situation to be in, right? And it's different, again, from any situation in the NBA if you wanted to compare it to that, because, teams in the NFL have more power than, they do in the NBA. That's fair to say. But I can't, in good faith, it's not like I don't understand why Deshaun Watson is upset. Like, if I'm him, I'm equally as upset. Yeah. Like I want to be traded. I do not want to be here after this team has actively wasted the first 4 years of my career.
Yeah, I would want out as well. That team's garbage. And JJ Watt is getting out. Finally.
Hopefully.
Is
He should go to Pittsburgh.
he a free agent? Or
Be with his brothers.
I don't think he's a free agent. I think they would
So
also
he want- Okay.
I will say, so I gave the in terms of the Rams Lions trade, I gave it an A for the Rams, because I'm of the opinion that as a team you should go all in when you have the opportunity, and you have two generational talents on defense that you can put literally anybody around, and you'll field an elite defense, right? Like you already have two pieces that like affect the game so much that I don't care if you put Joe Schmo on the defensive line. He's going to look better because he has Aaron Donald also playing next to him. And I don't care if you have Sir Glockenspiel as your safety or whatever. You have Jalen Ramsey, so your cover is going to be good. So if they feel like this is the piece, if this is their opportunity, then absolutely go for it. And like Josh said, I don't value those first round picks as much as other people might, because if the Rams have their way and they're already a pretty good team, those picks are going to be end of the first round. I don't value first round picks past like the top 15 or so as much as, other people might. I consider those second round picks. You're not, picking in what's considered the elite tier of prospects at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's as much of a gamble as picking someone at the beginning of the third round if you're picking at 32 or whatever. So I agree. And I also think it's understandable from the Lions side, right? They needed a reset. It's not like it would have been understandable if they just kept Matthew Stafford and just kept sucking, but also like he's 32. This is kind of the point that you made, right? Like he's 32 and this team is clearly going nowhere. So why stick with the 32-year-old quarterback who is super talented and is going to I guess. He's going to end up most likely at the end of his career top 5 in passing yards. It's where he's tracking at the moment. This shot in Los Angeles is the shot for Matt Stafford to make his Hall of Fame case.
Yep.
That's basically what I see here. And I tell you, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Matt Stafford playing in a Sean McVay offense, an actual offense, like an offense that does things and scores points.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about it.
For me, it's certainly an A for the Rams. It's like I think this is a pretty good guy to plug into that offense. I'm pretty high on Matt Stafford. I get the numbers are there obviously, but I just think he's a really good all-around quarterback. I think he's accurate enough if he's actually got, people to throw to in an offensive line. So I think this is a really good choice for them. And I think this is A+ times a million for Matt Stafford. He broke free. He did what Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson couldn't. He got out of Detroit. He did it. It's applause to him because he's finally Detroit has a really good player that they're not going to waste their entire career. When I saw this trade, that was the first thing I thought of was, wow, someone got out of Detroit. There are 10 minutes left.
Oh my God, I need to get this figured out between now and next week. This is really annoying.
What else we got?
So anyways, I just want to talk about championship coaching and how that matters. So we're going to flash it back about a week and a half ago to the conference championship tiers. And I just want to ask you generally, each of you, I want to ask you which decision to kick a field goal on 4th down was worse? Was it the 2 4th and goal attempts that the Bills decided to kick field goals for, or was it Matt LaFleur kicking a field goal down 8 with 2 minutes left in the game?
Bills,
and it's not really that close for me.
Matt LaFleur.
Oh.
All right, Connor, make your case because I will make the case for the Bills afterwards.
Simply put, you don't give Tom Brady a 2-minute drill.
Yeah, not even that. You don't give Tom Brady the ball to just get a first down. You didn't even need the 2 minutes. I mean,
Don't give Tom Brady the ball when you don't need to.
that's right. Don't give the ball.
So here's my argument as to why the Bills' decision to do it twice is absolutely indefensible. You're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So you have this specifically with the one at the very end of the first half. I think it was fourth and goal from the 3, and McVay decided to kick a field goal. And he said that it was like a morale booster so they could get points going into the half. You do realize who you're playing against, right? You do realize that your defense has not been playing all that well in the first half, right? You're playing against the Chiefs multiple times. You're inside the 10 and you decide to kick a field goal. You got to take touchdowns. You got to at least try. Because if you kick a field goal, that could be sandwiched between 2 Kansas City touchdowns and the game's over. But I think with the Green Bay decision, here's why I think it's defensible, and not even defensible, but like a fairly sound decision. So if they go for it on 4th down and they miss it, the Bucks get the ball up by 8 with 2 minutes left. The Packers still need to stop. And not only do they need to stop, but they need to stop, and they're going to have like 2, maybe 3 plays to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion to hopefully tie the game and send it to overtime. If you kick the field goal, you're down 5. You're in the same situation. You still have to get that same stop with the opportunity to get the ball back and win the football game outright. Now, I argue that that's not the coaching decision that cost the Packers the football game. The coaching decision that cost the Packers the game is Mike Pettin calling a cover 0 in the last play of the first half, letting Tom Brady throw an absolute dime to Scott Miller, who was uncovered. There is literally it's the same thing we talked about the Greg Williams situation. There's no defensible situation where you play a cover 0 in a Hail Mary situation. That's what it was. You knew they were going to take a shot down the field. They had 1 play left. They're at the 50-yard line. And you run a cover 0? I assume, from what I understand, Mike Pettin is out as the Packers defensive coordinator. That call cost him his job. It's ridiculous and not a call any sound coach should be making. Like, I know it's not something that people like generally pay attention to. Like, I know Mark has been on the record being like, I'm not really the scheme guy, whatever.
I'm very much not.
But like those kind of schematic decisions kneecap your team. You want to talk about Dan Campbell gnawing at people's kneecaps? Mike Pettin gnawed at his own defense's kneecaps. He didn't even give him a chance to go into halftime with the game being close or with momentum in their way or anything like that, Actually, I'm going to try and upgrade my Zoom account while we sit here so you guys can vamp for a second.
Hey, Connor, could you maybe talk to me about, what happened here in this game in maybe like, I don't know, like a guy who would be from, where do the Jets play? Like a guy from New Jersey?
Yeah, what's up?
No.
Here we go.
Damn it, Christ.
What do you want?
You know what I want, dude.
What do you
I
want?
want that sweet Jersey accent.
Let's hear the accent.
I don't have a Jersey accent.
How dare you?
It's retired.
How dare you? It's retired. It's your last show, dude.
Yeah, I'm retired from Jersey accent.
Come on, we're
episode-
playing all the hits tonight, Connor.
Yeah.
It's not a hit.
Oh, it is a slam dunk.
No.
The grand slam.
All right, so my Zoom account is telling me that I'm on a paid plan, but for some reason I still can't do meetings for longer than 40 minutes. So that's cool.
Perfect.
I hate the corporate machine.
All right. So anyways, that's it for our schematic discussion of the conference championship games.
Just end it and let's start another one.
That's
Let's
cool.
go.
Yeah,
That's what we'll do. So
Cool.
we'll do our sign off here because it's going to be 2 separate episodes technically. So thank you guys for watching this little mini episode of the Hot Stove Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Nunez. For everybody else, we will see you in like 10 seconds when we start recording the next one. So,
Yep.